But he's got some bad news for us.
I'm down to like 148 now.
It's always the woman that causes the problem. Fourth hospital. I kind of like bad girls though. Debbie's done and we're back here in Gainesville, Florida, ready to get back on with the medical treatment. It's always the woman that causes the problems.
We put in the last video about bugging out of our site here. So we are going back to our health series. This is all about Larry's diagnosis of MALS. And our last video, before Debbie video, was all about our trip, our mad dash from Portland, Oregon, where he saw doctors there, to come back to Gainesville to UF Health Shands, where we're more familiar with them. And we did a video about our 6 one-night stops we did in a week. And we also had a little health crisis in there for Scruffy when she was attacked and we had to go to the emergency vet.
So what's next? So the first thing we had lined up while we were traveling across the country, getting everything lined up with my primary care doctor, and hopefully we're going to go to the doctor and then get all my referrals that I need to get set up for surgery. Maybe an ER visit. We'll see what happens. So that's what this video is all about.
We got here Sunday back in Florida. This is Larry's primary care. And we're hoping he's going to grease the wheels, cut the red tape, whatever other expression you want to use, to try to get him to see some specialists and get this situation figured out.
I got to get hooked up with vascular, gastroenterology, and nutrition for sure.
Yeah, he's still losing weight.
Yeah, I'm down to like 148 now, so.
We need to fix this.
Dropping fast, baby. He was basically putting in all the orders to get everything done here, outpatient. A stat, but he thinks that maybe it's the best thing to go to the ER anyways, because a lot of this stuff would take place a lot faster if I got admitted.
The great thing about him seeing his primary care, he just saw him in April, and he could see the weight loss in Larry. He could see it. He's like, no, you need to go to the ER.
He's like, yeah, back in April you were 172,
and now you're 148.
Now I'm 151 on theirs.
51.
The question is, are we going to hit the ER here at Shands, or are we going to wait it out and do the whole outpatient thing? So that's the question. We still haven't made the decision.
I did.
Yeah.
ER. He saw him. He's like, okay, you need to get to the ER. I'm going to put it in your chart. You need to be in the ER. And he also put it in there that he felt he should be admitted. Did that help?
I don't know, did it? Okay, it's starting to rain.
Yeah, this is why we're inside, because it's Florida and it's raining every day. So one of the great things about being in Florida near Gainesville is we get to see our kids. And for the first time in years, we were able to celebrate Lawrence's birthday on his actual day. And this was a big one. This was 30. Happy birthday, dear Grandpa. Happy birthday to you. And we really needed this after everything that we went through.
Yeah, his birthday's in the middle of July there, so it's like, it's right in the middle of our summer trip usually, but unfortunately we have to be back here, but we get to hit the birthday. Okay, the good news is most of the treatment that I had is already in the My Chart. And I've linked up my UF Shands My Chart and my OHSU My Chart, and I have all my records, so we should be good to go. All the doctors have all the information that they need.
Yeah, they could see his CTs, his
ultrasounds, EGDs, blood tests, all that stuff.
No, the thing down the throat.
The EGD.
Well, no one knows what that is.
Yeah, it's an upper GI. Camera down the throat.
We decide to get to the ER about 6 in the morning, figuring that we'll get in a lot faster and get things rolling.
Yeah, we were up at like 5 that day.
So unfortunately, it wound up being a 14-hour ER visit, and it did not go.
I thought it was like 16 hours because it's like 6 o'clock in the morning till like 10 o'clock at night.
Yes, yes. So I don't want to do the math. So it was a long day, but it did not go as well as I had hoped.
The great news is we got into the ER really quick. The place was almost completely empty. We've been there before, because of my other problems and been there for hours. So I was really encouraged. We got back in the back quickly where they did blood tests. They hooked up an IV. They did urinalysis. They got me to a CT. And they gave me a GI cocktail, I think all within like the first hour.
As you can imagine, I spoke very sternly about his need for nutrition because it actually said in his chart from Portland that he was malnourished. And I kept going on and on about that. And we wanted consult with vascular surgeons and GI. It took about 5 hours for them to finally give him one bag of some sort of electrolytes. And I was very disappointed by that.
They didn't give me any food, I don't think, while we were there, because they didn't know what tests they were still going to want to do and stuff like that, whether or not they're going to redo the upper GI or anything like that. So that's probably why they didn't give me any food.
But it took 5 hours of me keep saying he needs something, he hasn't eaten.
She's afraid it was going to collapse right there, I think.
You were not with
That
it.
was not a good day for me. We were waiting for the gastroenterologist to show up. It's going to be a couple hours, so I told Alice to take off and go take care of Scruffy.
Yeah, because she had already been alone in the RV for like 5 hours, and this is one of the reasons why we want to be
We have
close.
like a 6-hour limit for Scruffy.
We want to be close to the kids so that we had a pet sitter. So I brought Scruffy over to them to take care of Scruffy because I could tell the ER visit was going to be a long one.
The problem is the gastroenterologist showed up about a half hour earlier than he was supposed to, and he did the consult with me, which was very brief. And then he's like, oh, I'm going to come back. I promise I'm going to come back and talk to you later. So, Alice would be there for that one.
But he promised, twice? I'll be back with my whole team. He never came back. It's 5 hours after all this other nonsense. And we get a new ER resident, but this guy was awesome.
You're talking about Adam now. Yeah,
Adam.
Yeah, he was good.
He was awesome. I, again, said he needs nutrition. He's malnourished. They had given him a bag hours ago and nothing else. So he hooked us up. He put in another bag, but this time the nurses did this thing where they did a quick push. They squeezed it to get it into him faster. And then Adam put in an order saying he wants bag after bag after bag of this,
The problem is, if you're the guy getting bag after bag after bag and you're in the ER, you go to the bathroom constantly because they're punching this fluid in. So you grab the bag, you got to run to the bathroom, back and forth. I must have gone to the bathroom like 20 times in the next few hours.
But what's funny is you were hooked up to all this other heart and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But earlier, he just disconnected that because he was going to the bathroom, and he never hooked it back up, and no one noticed.
There was a flat line somewhere on some screen. They're like, don't worry about that guy. He's dead. About 12 hours in, the vascular consult guy finally comes in, but he's got some bad news for us. UF apparently does not do the necessary surgery that I need, which is the Mal's procedure. So they're like, well, you're going to have to find somewhere else to do it.
He was a very nice resident, very sweet about it, but I was a little perturbed that it took that long sitting in the ER for them to tell us that there's nothing they can do.
The thing is, the problem with the teaching hospitals is that you've got the ED guy who could be either a resident, an attending, or a fellow. And then you've got the specialist, which could be a resident, an attending, or a fellow. And a lot of times you don't know who you got.
Now, an hour after that, we're still waiting to talk to MIS.
It's freaking rain. It's crazy.
It's Florida. Sorry. We were still waiting for the MIS
The
doctor
minimally invasive surgery department
to come by like Vascular did and say whether they do the surgery, even though I really wanted Vascular to be involved. And they never came by. They did inform the resident on call that they don't do the surgery. So at this point, it's like 9-something at night. We're like, we've been here since 6 in the morning. I was pissed. I said, discharge us. We're getting out of here. I'm going to take Larry back and we're going to get him some rest.
I am outside the ER And we've just spent like over 12 hours at the ER here at UF Shands. So it doesn't look like they're going to be able to help us here. They do not do the procedure that I need here. And so look, we're going to have to go to Mayo Clinic. So that will be my 4th hospital in this journey.
Back in the RV the next morning, and I've got to figure out who can do this procedure. So the first one that they recommended was Mayo Clinic. I get on the phone with Mayo Clinic, get to the vascular department. Yes, they do the procedure. We're all good to go. They check my insurance and no, they do not take Florida Blue insurance, which is like the gold standard insurance here in Florida, but for some reason Mayo doesn't. The crazy thing is the Mayo in Rochester, Minnesota does take my insurance.
But not Jacksonville, Florida.
Not
Mayo.
the Mayo, Jacksonville, Florida. It was crazy.
Okay, I just had an hour-long conversation with a case manager from Florida Blue. I think somebody on YouTube or something recommended that we do a case manager.
Yes. So thank you, whoever that was.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. We had, talked all about my treatment and my plan to get a specialist to do the surgery and stuff like that. So she's there to support me and, getting all that stuff done, which is great.
She sent me a referral to a mental health counselor also, because they're worried that with all this stuff going on, I'm going to be very depressed and stuff like that, which is true. So I think they're trying to arrange for me to get a little help on the mental side too.
And Larry double checked because he's going to go to a couple different doctor consults, because we're not just like, oh, you'll do the surgery, let's go with you. This is serious. It's super rare. Very few vascular surgeons.
I've actually got 3 going. I got UF Shands.
Well, maybe.
I got Cleveland Clinic, and maybe a doctor at Orlando Regional. No, actually, Advent Health in Orlando. We are on our way to pain management consult. What basically they're going to do is eventually do a celiac block, where they block the pain center or wherever I got my pains going on. And if the block works, that's an indication that if they do the surgery, surgery will work. So most of these surgeons will not do the surgery without a positive result from the celiac block.
And the other thing is, the surgeon, we want to make sure they're not just going to cut the ligament, but they're also going to deaden the nerves so it doesn't come back. You have a higher...
That's the technical term. Deaden. They're going to deaden them. I don't know what they say. I have a hard time coming up with that word too, but that's a good way to put it. They're going to kill those nerves.
One of the reasons we left Portland is because they weren't going to be able to schedule a celiac block. I was able to get that scheduled at UF, and I had a consult actually within a week, but that procedure is not till the end of this month. I met with that doctor, and he again also said, yeah, UF does the mouse procedure. So hopefully
he does this test all the time.
Yeah, he does this test all the time. So hopefully he's right, and we'll still be able to stick with UF. Now, in the middle of all this, my doctor that I had in Portland, I've been messaging him back and forth, trying to help me through this process. And he said, I don't know what you're talking about. I have buddies of mine that say the UF Health definitely does this mouse procedure. He goes, contact this doctor. I call the department. I get to the surgery schedule. She goes, oh yeah, we do that procedure. Yeah, of course we do. Problem is, the Shands one isn't until the end of August. This is 2 months in from when I got sick. So we had a rude intruder in our plan.
Debbie, you're a bad girl.
I kind of like bad girls though.
We had to interrupt getting all this stuff done and working on Larry's nutrition, because still he's not eating. And we had to skedaddle for a couple days. We went to West Georgia to get away from Debbie.
Actually, it looks like there's quite a few RVs in this row here tonight at the Loves.
We are sorry for everyone that was affected by the storm.
Yeah, we got off pretty easy because
we did.
Where we went, there was virtually almost no rain even.
Yeah.
So we're glad we escaped.
It would have been scary back here, but...
And we're just lucky because it changed where it was going. It was supposed to go right over here, and it changed. So this is the kind of thing we were worried about. This is new.
Yeah.
And this is right here, and our RV was right here.
Okay, one of the things I'm working on in the meantime of all this going on is I'm trying to get some of my weight back. I'm under 150 pounds, so I'm doing my best to like either level it off or maybe gain a little weight. I'm taking these little shakes, but I decided to try to eat things again. So one day I had a little bit of rice. I am eating the first food I've eaten in I think over 2 weeks, which is
Like 3 weeks.
maybe like a quarter cup of rice, and we'll see how it goes. I don't know, it feels weird to actually chew food, but we'll see how I do in a couple hours. Next day I had a little bit of bagel. The next day after that I added a little bit of peanut butter. But anytime I eat food like that, it is a bad stomachache basically for the rest of the day, and that kind of sucks. But I am working it, trying to get the weight up. So now I'm almost at 150 pounds. I have a nutritionist appointment on Monday, just in a couple of days.
Yeah.
So hopefully the nutritionist will help me put a plan together to keep my weight at least level and not lower anymore.
In a couple days, we are driving about 4 hours to go to the Cleveland Clinic.
Which is in Weston, Florida. It's like basically Fort Lauderdale.
This is just for a consult. This isn't for treatment. This is just to talk to a doctor. And then we'll have another 4 hours back. Now, we're not leaving Scruffy in the RV all day. So one of our kids is actually coming over to the RV and dog sitting in her home. And this is one of the great things about being near the kids. Plus, we're borrowing our other kid's Prius so that we're not spending so much money on diesel. And I'm more comfortable.
Yeah, I don't want all that wear and tear on my dually anyway. So,
yeah. Plus, I'm more comfortable driving the Prius and parking the Prius.
Yeah, I'm not driving at all, am I? You're doing the whole drive to Weston.
Yeah, when I drive, you sleep the whole time. So I don't even get a co-pilot. But I guess I'm going to have to drink some Mountain Dew Red.
Yeah, right on, baby. Ready for a road trip?
We want to thank everyone who kept checking on us all throughout this, leaving lots of comments.
Support and encouragement is what is getting me through this.
Yes. So check our YouTube community tab because those are more up to date. And I want to thank everyone for that. Now, anyone else out there being diagnosed with a rare disorder like Larry?
Twice. This is my second rare disorder. If you had to go through this is a lot to manage. Managing a bunch of doctors, hospitals, insurance, case managers, all of this stuff is kind of very overwhelming. So anybody out there got some tips or things that they have been through and think that sharing, please put that down in the comments. I think I would find that very helpful, and maybe other people reading the comments that have medical problems also would find it helpful.
Do you have tips on how to make sure you get admitted to the hospital and not spend 14 hours
That
in
would have
the
been
ER?
so much better if I just gotten admitted to the hospital.
Yeah.
They'd take care of everything right there, and then spit me out of the hospital when I'm all done. That didn't happen.
So if you have any helpful tips for us, for everyone else, you can tell us here or on Instagram and Facebook.
Now, if you want to know what's going to happen next, and we don't even know, then think about subscribing by clicking the link down below. That way you'll get notified when we come up with another episode. I'm also going to leave a link to a playlist right over here of all of our health stuff that's going on right now until we get back on the road and start having fun again. And remember,
downsizing does make sense. Sorry for the storm.